All right, so it looks like we are right at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. Again, welcome to this session of Zoom Tunes. I truly hope that this is helpful to people, and if you have suggestions, I'm seeing some shakes of heads. If you have suggestions on what would be more helpful to you, I'm all ears. Send me an email. So that everybody is oriented. For the Zoom sessions, I do have the recording is on. Hi, welcome Herb and Michelle. So the recording is on, and hopefully that will stick, and I'll be able to send you the recording about the end of the week. Usually I try to get those out on Fridays. When everyone joins this Zoom meeting, you're automatically muted, and that's to allow people to come in late to the meeting and not disturb the songs. So just if you have a question or you think something is wrong or something is off, please just unmute and call it out, so I can catch you. Because normally if I'm playing, I'm looking down at my dulcimer and I can't see anything, hand raising or anything on the screen. So just feel free to unmute and call it out. Okay, so I normally start off with a tuning check. I have a tuner that I like to use, and I'm going to flip my camera around so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Hopefully, if I get this around correctly. So I'm just putting my tuner down on my dulcimer. I haven't played this dulcimer in a while, so I'm just going to adjust this. Which way? This way, maybe. Interesting. Okay, there you go. So it may be out of tune. And I suggest, since I haven't played it in a while, to tune it, and really, whenever you sit down to play your dulcimer, you should practice at least tuning it and try to get it into tune. Alright, so the first string I always tune is the bass string, the one farthest away. Yep, and that needs a little... And you turn your tuners very slowly. There you go. So hopefully you can hear that, and your bass string sounds approximately the same. Alright, moving on to the middle string. Yep. I need to make that a little closer. There we go. So hopefully that's your middle string. And the melody string, the one closest to you. We're tuning to D-A-D. So this D is actually a complete octave above the D on your bass string, for anyone keeping count. Any questions or problems with that part? I do suggest, and I'll be talking about a little bit more when we talk about what to practice, that if you're not comfortable retuning your dulcimer, it is a good thing to practice, because the more you practice it, the better you'll get at it. Alright, I think we're going to start off with our 3 fun start-off songs. So I'm going to share my iPad screen, which will have the tab on it. So hopefully that's coming up. Alright, there we go. I'm going to turn off that sound. And Oh, we can put that away. So yeah, these, as I mentioned in the email that I sent, I think these songs, you know, we've been playing them for a while now, and I think people are probably pretty sick of them. So we'll play a completely different set of music in December. It'll be all holiday music, and I'll send that out, a link to where you can get that music out, probably when I send the recording out at the end of this week. So yeah, this is the last time for this group playing these songs, at least. So I would suggest, you know, these first 3 songs, give them your all. If you're just beginning, just play the melody line, which is the lowest numbers. So that would be 2, open, 1, open, 2, open, 1, open, 2, 4. 2, 4, right? So if you're just beginning, feel free to just do that. If you've been playing this song for a while and you kind of know how it goes and you want to try some different things, go ahead and try those adjacent notes that I was showing last month. So that would be kind of this slide up from the 2 to the 3 back to the 2 really quickly with your thumb. I don't know if you can see that. And then also when you go up to the 4, you can start actually on 5 and slide down like that to the 4. It just gives the song an additional color as you're playing it. Another thing to do is you can play on the bass string. So whatever you feel comfortable doing, please join in. I'm going to count in to 4 and then we'll start playing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the beginning. One more time. Big finish. Alright, how did that feel? People, thumbs up if that was okay? Alright, got lots of thumbs up. Alright, so moving on from Liza Jane, we have, how do I do this? Cripple Creek. Cripple Creek is a great tune. One of the things I suggested earlier in one of the previous sessions is if you're not good at strumming back and forth, that this is a good song to practice that on. So for example, the first line for the quarter notes, which are the which is the first note. That's the black first note, that number 7. That's a quarter note. Just strum out. But then for the 8th notes, the next 2 notes, which are tied together, strum out and strum back in quickly. So if you do that throughout the song, you start practicing that back and forth strumming. That is critical to gaining speed and confidence. Alright, so I'll count to 4 again on this one. We'll play it through 3 times, just like we did Liza Jane, and we'll take it from there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That section repeats. Now to the 3rd line. Again, that repeats. Back to the beginning. Back to the beginning last time. And finished. Alright, how did that feel for folks? Okay, did you do the back and forth strumming that I was showing you? Yeah? Okay, good. As I say, this is a great song to practice that back and forth strumming a little bit. Alright, we have one more song to play. Ah, where's my mouse? I can't find my mouse. Oh, you're way over there. Okay, yay. Alright. In our lineup of these first intro songs, this is Black Mountain Rag. And song is a little bit longer than the other, so we'll play it through twice instead of 3 times. And remember, this song so the first line repeats, the second line repeats, and then the last 3 lines repeat. So yeah, we'll play this through 3 times. Okay. And I'll count to 4, and then we'll come in. 1, 2, 3, 4. That repeats. Second line. line again. Now to the third line. Back to the beginning. Third line. There you go. Big finish on that one. Woohoo! Okay for people? Any problems with that? Oh, okay. So I'm going to stop that share for a minute. Okay. Change over my camera for a moment. Oops. There we go. Let's try that camera. Is it going to work? Is it going to work, folks? Come on, camera. Yay! Okay. So, since the last time, I bought a new camera and I have a completely new camera arrangement. So this is my first time trying this new camera arrangement. So please bear with me on that one. So yeah, last time I talked a bit about and gave some tips about like sort of how to practice and you know, things like setting your stand off to the side so that you can see your music and your fretboard at the same time if you happen to use music. And you know, sort of suggestions, can I speak? Suggestions like that. Tonight I just wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about how do you decide what to practice? Okay, now that, you know, for beginners that might seem odd, but yeah, once you get past these beginning songs, you really do want to think carefully about what you're practicing. So, you know, for example, okay, the first example is if you're gathering with a dulcimer group. You know, there's a couple of people in here this session that do come to my in-person dulcimer group once a month, and then, you know, I have a friend, Jane, who's also on this call, and she and I try to get together even though we live in 2 different states when we can. So if you're meeting people to play with, then clearly you need to practice the music that you're going to play when you come together. At least I do. There are some people who can just play it, you know, right off the bat without looking at it. I can't. I need to practice those songs before I come to meet with people. So that's definitely something to look for. You know, obviously practice the songs if you're meeting other people in a dulcimer group to play with. But beyond that, there are other things. If for example you want to sing with your dulcimer, you know, then what I would suggest you focus on is learning chord progressions and really focusing on the chord transitions within the song. Because when you're singing with an instrument, your voice should be the melody, and you shouldn't compete with your voice by playing the melody on your dulcimer. At least that's what I was taught. I've heard only, maybe in my lifetime, I've only heard a handful of performers who played the melody and sang the melody at the same time. Usually, and if you go back and look at Joni Mitchell playing the dulcimer and singing her songs, she is literally just playing really simple chords behind her beautiful voice. And that's typically what you do when you are, you know, singing with an instrument of any kind, a dulcimer or a guitar or whatever. So I can demonstrate that, I think. If you bear, I don't sing well, but let me try to demonstrate this. If you don't laugh at my singing. Hey, we're gonna stop that share. Now, I'm gonna demonstrate this with a song. Yay! Okay. We don't need to share that audio. But we are going to go here. We can get rid of that. So everybody knows this song, right? You Are My Sunshine. No. And it's in this particular tab, the chords are a little bit difficult to see. On the first line of music, it's just D. You're just playing D the whole time for the first line of the music. The second line of music, you start off on a G, then you turn to a D, then you go back to a G. The last line is D, then A and D. So can you guys give me a thumbs up if you see those chords? It's above the musical notation. Okay, great. So you've seen this before, and I'm not trying to show off because I really don't have a good voice. But in this case, I would play, if I was going to play and sing this song, I would just play it like this. And watch, if you can, let me change my camera so you can watch how much my hands actually don't move. Right? Because I'm just going to play a D, then I'm going to change to a G, and then a D, and a G, and a D, and an A at the right time in the music. Okay? So the first whole line, I'm just playing a D. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take your sunshine away. Okay? Thumbs up if that made sense to people. Okay, cool. Sorry about my horrible singing. Oh, somebody put a chat. Yay, thumbs up. Okay. Sorry about my horrible singing, but I just wanted to demonstrate the fact that if you're planning to sing with your dulcimer, then what you really want to start practicing is learning the chords, learning the chord progressions, how to move from one chord to the next gracefully. And that's easier to learn in some respects than having to learn the whole melody. So, and what I would like you to consider if you're thinking about singing with your dulcimer is to look up where you could find open mics, and think about going to a couple of those and performing at a couple of those. Because the other thing you want to practice a little bit is just stage presence and how to get the nerves out, because everybody's nervous. All right. So that's one thing. The other, some people like myself don't care to sing with their dulcimer ever in front of anyone. You guys had a treat, because that's not something I do. It's not something I enjoy doing. So the other thing that people often like to do is play their dulcimer with other instruments in like an old time or bluegrass jam, and that's great too. And in that situation, what I would suggest is also to practice the chords. But then you also have to learn some improv techniques and what are things called pentatonic scales. And if anyone, I'll offer this up. If anyone wants more in-depth information about those, then I'm happy to show them. Essentially, a pentatonic scale is instead of 7 notes in the scale, you have 5 notes in the scale, and they're the 5 notes that sound fine and great no matter what chord is being played in the key. And so a lot of times, I'm sure everyone's heard bluegrass players or rock players, they'll start improvising, jamming all over the place while the other players are playing backup. And often those players are only playing 5 of the 7 notes, and they're just hitting all those 5 notes, and it doesn't matter what order, it doesn't matter the rhythm, it doesn't matter anything, because those 5 notes will always sound good in no matter what chords the other players are playing behind them. So yeah, so that's a handy thing to learn if you're interested in improvising. To begin with, what I would suggest is just noodle on your dulcimer. Try to find a few licks with 3 or 4 notes in them that you can play well. But you also want to learn, if you're planning on jamming with other people, you also want to learn chords, because you can, if I just turn this back over here, when in your first jams, you're really just going to be playing the chords. You're not going to try and play the melody along with everybody else who knows the songs by heart. But somebody will say G chord. Okay, I'm playing a G chord. And then somebody says D chord. D chord, I'm playing a D chord. A. So you're playing along with them, but you're playing the chords. The other thing that's important with jamming, particularly in old-time music and bluegrass, is understanding what keys you can play in the different tunings you're in. So we're in D, we can play in D, we can play in G, we can play in B minor, we can play in E minor, and to some extent we can play a little bit in A, without retuning, without doing anything to our dulcimer. We can hit all of those different keys and keep up with those different songs in those if you need to, there's 2 devices, 2 things you can do. One is, probably easier to see if I do it on this camera. Okay, so this is called the capo. It's a dulcimer capo. And you put it on your dulcimer at a particular fret. So if I put this on the first, just before the first fret, my dulcimer is no longer really in the key of D, it's in the key of E minor. Okay, and likewise if I put this on at the 4th fret, my dulcimer is going to be in the key of A. Okay, and I can play bunches of stuff up here in the key of A. So that's one way. A capo is one way to help get a different range of notes on it. But really the best way to get a different range of notes in a different key is to retune. So I can tune down to the key of C very easily just by tuning to C, G, C instead of D, A, D like we did at the beginning. So now I'm in the key of C. And any song I play is going to be in the key of C instead of the key of D. Okay? So retuning is the other way you get good at this. And of course that also leads to the to when you're playing in those old-timey and bluegrass jams, a lot of people just own multiple dulcimers, and you know, they have one in the key of D, they have one set up in the key of A, and you know, they just switch out depending on, you know, which dulcimer, which song is being played. So yeah, that's those. Like I say, what to practice depends on what you plan to do with your dulcimer. The last thing I'll say, it's perfectly okay just to enjoy playing the dulcimer by yourself and not trying to go farther than that. And in which case I would suggest, you know, practicing instead of songs like, you know, you could try to practice. This is a Danny Boy. My friend Jane, who's on the call, actually tabbed this song out. This is an Irish air, but there's beautiful Scottish airs as well. And songs like this, yes, bands play them, and they play them at a very regular beat. But these songs were really designed to be able to really emote emotion. So let me just try to play this once so that you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to keep a steady beat because no one else is playing with me. I just want to try and squeeze out as much emotion as I can from this song. Whoops. Sorry, here we go again. Whoops, sorry, let me try that one again. I'm killing this song, not in the good way. So I think you get the point, that if you're, you know, just playing by yourself, you can really work with these songs to put a lot more emotion in them. And in this case, you know, I'm not even looking at musical notes to give me any kind of timing on what to play. I'm timing this based everything out of my head as I sing the song to myself in my head as I go along. So that's, you know, I just suggest that, you know, if playing by yourself is something you like to do, then go ahead and, you know, play some of these really slower tunes that, you know, you can just really put a bunch of effort in and really get a lot of emotion into. So did I miss anyone's plans for their dulcimer, of what they would like to do in the future with their dulcimer? No? Any questions about that part? You know, really the sky's the limit. There's so much you can do with your dulcimer. And, you know, it's just a matter of what you choose to practice. You know, some people want to compete in the national Mountain Dulcimer competitions. And that's where playing some of these really slow airs and getting really good at them and putting in a bunch of ornamentals into them is really a good way to go. And again, it informs what you want to choose to work on, what you want to choose to practice. Because once you get beyond the basic intro songs, then it's you're kind of like, oh, okay, what do I do now? Right? All right. So, questions about that? I have. Oh, let me check the chat. Okay, so someone's asking, where do I find the songs you just played new totally? I'll be happy to send out links to the tab for You Are My Sunshine and Danny Boy, which weren't in the agenda for today. Sorry about that. Happy to send those out. Is Jane still on the call? Yes, she is. Jane, is it okay for me to send Danny Boy? Yep, okay, good. All right. Jane says yes. All right. So great. So we are at 5:38, and we can get back to playing more tunes if people don't have other questions. Okay. So I'm going to switch over to that application. Hello. There we go. And Mississippi Sawyer. I forgot to put that on the agenda too. All right, so I'm making a note. There are 3 songs I will send you tab for. All right. And You Are My Sunshine. So when I send out the video, I will, later this week, I will include links to these 3 songs. And again, next month is December, so we'll be doing some holiday tunes. And then the month after that is January, and I'll start the new year with a whole bunch of new songs to play and practice. You know, I honestly practice whatever songs strike your fancy. You know, even, you know, like if you still want to play Liza Jane and Black Mountain Rag, go for it. If you're not sick of those songs, play whatever songs you like to play. and are good at least a little bit during every practice session, because you don't want your practice sessions just to be pure work and hard work and learning new songs. So always take some time in a practice session to play some songs that you really like. Okay, so this time we're going to play Mississippi Sawyer. And I'm going to change my camera back to my dulcimer camera. Oops, there we go. There we go. Hopefully you can see my dulcimer. I'm gonna play this song through a couple of times. This song has the first two lines repeat, but there's a different ending. So there's ending 1 and ending 2. So for those of you who aren't too familiar with reading music in this way, the first time you play the first two lines of music, you play at the end of that you play just the 0 0 0 0 2, and then you go back to the beginning of 4. Okay, and but the second time you go through that repeat, you don't play that 2. You play a 0 on the middle string. I hope that makes sense to people. You'll hear it, listen for it when we get to that part. And the same thing goes, the last two lines of music also repeat, and they also have a different ending at the end of each of those lines. Okay, that's what that little line on the top of the measures at the end of the second line of music and the end of the fourth line of music is. Alright, so Mississippi Sawyer. I'm going to count to 4 and then we'll come in. We're going to play these a bit slower than we played the Liza Jane and opening songs, because this probably is just the first or second time some people have seen this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Second line. First ending on the second line. Back to the beginning. Skipping and then going to the last third line. First ending, third line again. Okay, this is the last ending. So 0, 2, open. Alright, did that make sense to people? Did the endings, different endings, trip you up at all? No? Okay, good. Alright, yeah. So, you know, essentially, writing music this way with multiple endings on different parts of the song just allows people to put it all on one page instead of trying to, like, write it out and all this kind of stuff. All right, do you want to play that one more time? Yes, big thumbs up. Okay. About the same speed, or do you want it faster or slower? Not faster. Same speed. Okay. Again, I'll count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the beginning. Second ending. Third line. Third line again. Last ending. Is that okay for people? Did anyone get lost a little bit? Yes, no? This is one of the more complex, this is one of the more complex pieces because the let me just see if I can get this. Let me get that there. So there's a pickup measure at the beginning here. You only play that once at the very beginning of the song. You never play it again. Okay, that's essentially the very. But when you go back, when you repeat that from here, this is the first repeat. Okay, when you repeat that, you've sort of already played that too. That's the first note, and you go right up to the 4. Okay, does that make sense to people? Yeah. So this is one of the more complex tabs that you will see. And I included it here trying to just get people used to looking at these more complex tabs. Again, if you're just beginning and you just want to play the 2, 3, 4 and you don't care about the chords, feel free. Just play the 3 here. Don't try to do the G chord, full G. Okay, so that's, you know, important. I always, when I first learn any song, I always play the melody. I learn the melody first and then add the chords later. And then this is also another good song to practice the in and out strumming because you have essentially only quarter notes and eighth notes. And so for the quarter notes, that first 4 just strum out. But then on the very next 4, 2, you can strum out quickly and come back quickly on the 2. So that's another thing to do. Okay. All right. Shall we move on to a song you're probably more, at least familiar with how it goes? This is Morning Has Broken. Again, if you're just beginning, focus only on playing, if I can do it, these notes. Those are the melody notes. So the song starts. So that's open, 2, 4, 7. Okay? If you're just beginning, please just do that much. And then again, continue that just melody, the lowest line of numbers throughout the whole song. If you know this song and have been playing it for a while with me, please do try some of the embellishments that we've looked at. You know, for example, I've shown doing this with arpeggiated chords. So that would sound more like. Okay, I'm going to play it a lot slower than that, so you can practice some of that arpeggiating of the chords on some. You don't have to do them on all of them, but maybe on some of the longer holds where we're holding notes for a long time. You want to practice that part. All right, so this is again, I'm just going to count to 4, make it easy for people, and just they'll come in after that point. And again, I'm gonna play really slowly. One thing I'll also offer up is another thing that you need to start practicing is rhythm, making sure this strumming hand is moving in rhythm. So if all you can do is move your hand and tap your foot to a rhythm, that's practicing. Believe me. And I also suggest, even when you don't have your dulcimer, you can't have your dulcimer with you, like you're in the car, you're listening to music, or you're in your living room and there's a clock ticking on the wall, practice strumming your hand out and in, and tapping your foot to the rhythm of whatever that thing is. If it's the dishwasher or the clock on the wall. A lot of people talk about practicing to metronomes. I hate practicing songs to metronomes, but this activity of getting your hand moving and your foot moving in a very strong beat is really good to do with a metronome. Again, because you want this hand moving at a very specific rate. Whenever you're playing any kind of music, except for jazz. Jazz. Okay. Okay, so we're going to play Morning Is Broken. I'm going to count to 4, and then we're going to come in. It's going to sound really slow, but yeah, play as much as you can with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go back to the beginning. Here we go. Alright, how did that go for people? And it's okay to unmute and let me know if you have issues or questions. Okay. Hi!
Can you just do one little of your arpeggio things on that very first note so we know like what we would be, how we would be picking with our fingers?
Ah, okay. So it might be easier to see my dulcimer if I turn off the share for a second. Ooh, can I do this without messing it up? Yes, we can. It's technology. I can do it. Okay. So, on okay, I've turned off the share, but I just want to make sure. Okay, yes, thank you. I have the music in front of me so I don't mess you up. Okay, here we go. I'm not sharing, am I? Nope, I'm not. Yay, okay. All right, technology is a wonderful thing. Okay, so I'll do the first two measures with the first two. Can she count with her fingers? The first two measures with arpeggios, and I'm seeing some crosstalk in the chat. I love that, you guys. You're helping each other. That's wonderful. Anyway, so the first I'll do the first three measures with the arpeggios so that you can see. So for the quarter notes, you really only have time to play the melody string and the middle string when you do the arpeggios. But for the longer holds, you can do more of the strings. So for the first measure, all I'm doing is plucking the melody string open, because that's the first note, open, and then the middle string. Okay? And then for the second note of the song, I'm fretting it too. And then also, after I pluck the melody string, I'm plucking the middle string. And then I'm going up to 4. So those first three notes sound. Does that make sense? Okay. So for the dotted half note, you have longer. So you can actually get in all 3 strings, or maybe all 3 and then coming back, depending on how fast you're plucking them. Make sense? So I'll play the first 3 measures. Oops. Oh, if I can play them. And then we're down. And for whatever reason, I just flourish that. You don't You don't have to do it. You can go back to your your picking, but I like to sort of flourish that a little bit. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Okay, that was great. Thank you. So I think the thing you just helped me realize is in general, you're just going across your board and you might have time to come back. So you're going from the lowest note on the tab, 7 5 4, and you might get all the way back to 5 and 7 again.
You might.
If you
You
have time.
might. Yeah, if you have
Okay,
time.
that's great. Thank you.
But always remember, in folk music, the melody rules. So you have to play the melody notes when you're supposed to play them. And because all of this extra stuff, these things those are ornamentals. Those are extra notes to pretty it up, right? And you have to play the melody as the melody, or no one will know what you're playing. All right, cool. Do we want to play Morning is Broken one more time, or do we want to move on? Thumbs up for playing it one more time. You can do it this way. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We're almost at a quorum. All right. So let me share this again. Share my screen. Share. Where are you? There you are. Little share screen thing. Start. Okay. Alright, so now we go back to the action. Whoops, not that one, Lynna. We did that one. How about this one? There we go. And we can put that away so you can actually see the music. So yeah, I will send the links to a lot of this music were in the agenda. I'll send that out again when I send out the recording at the end of the week. Right, count to 4, and then I'll come in again. About the same speed. I know it's a little slow for some people, but if try to get some of that, those prettier notes in there as we're playing it slow for the folks who don't know the song as well. And again, if you're just beginning, you're reading the bottom line of numbers, and those match your fret numbers that you want to play at. And there's you just do that, and you'll play a beautiful version of this. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Last line. All right. I work for people? Yay, thumbs up. Yes. Okay, cool. So great song. It's a great song to memorize. It's really pretty. And often when you memorize a tune, you can play it faster, just because the music isn't in your way. The music, the printed music, isn't in your way. Anyone have questions at this point? Okay. There's also just there's just a melody version. This is the arpeggiated version. If somebody's actually doing the arpeggiated, I tabbed it all out. So again, there's a link to this in on the agenda, which I'd sent out. So okay, moving on to Gray Cat on a Tennessee Farm. This is a fun tune. It's a fun tune to memorize. It's a fun tune to play. This is a very popular tune to play in dulcimer jams. It's probably going to be one of our, when we start up in January, it'll probably be one of our 3 intro warm-up tunes. So you'll be seeing this one again. But yeah, we're going to count to 4. And then we're going to come in. Again, if you're just beginning, all you need to think about trying to play is the 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 2, 1, open. That's the bottom line of the numbers, and they match your frets. Speaking of frets, if you're brand spanking new, or if you have difficulty finding frets up your fretboard, then one of the very first things, remember I was talking earlier about what to practice. One of the very first things you want to practice is just memorizing your fret positions. Now this dulcimer that I'm using has an extra fret. It has a 1.5 fret. So for tonight, make sure you ignore this fret on my dulcimer. You should have, a lot of dulcimers don't have this, and instead you'll have a big space and another big space and then a smaller space. So memorize that pattern of wide spaces and narrow spaces, and then just literally count the frets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then keep going up and down. Count and just say the fret out loud. And then, the other thing you can do is just randomly put your finger down and not looking, and look where your finger is and immediately say 4, okay, and then put your finger down again. I'm just going to randomly put it down and look, oh, I'm at 8, okay. So if you're brand spanking new, or if you're still having a little bit of trouble finding where the frets are, just for a few moments, for a couple of minutes each practice session, reinforce all of those fret positions. And that will really help you in the future. I know it sounds simple and stupid, but it's really not. Because your hand is learning where you are on the fretboard. Your brain is internalizing that. So that's important work to do. Okay, Gray Cat on a Tennessee Farm, and we're gonna count to 4 and then come in. 1, 2, 3, 4. That repeats. Okay, it's a fun song, and I strongly urge you as best you can to memorize it. It's eventually going to want to play it that fast, and it's really hard to look at the music and try to find the fret positions and play it that fast. So It's not that hard to memorize, and it's a good exercise for your brain to memorize this song. Questions about it? Nope. Cool. Alright, let's move on to Whiskey Before Breakfast. I know Michelle likes this one because it has a lot of runs of going up and going down and going up and going down. Again, this the first two lines of this song repeat, and then the second two lines repeat. And it's just another great dulcimer jam tune when you get together with your other dulcimer friends or at a festival and you get to do a jam session. This one will always be played, and they may play it 3 or 4 times. I'm not meaning over and over again. I mean 3 or 4 times spaced out in the jam because people love it. Alright, I'm going to count to 4, and then we're going to come in, and again I'm going to try and play it pretty slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the beginning. Third line of the music. Back to the third line. Last line. Alright, so I know that there's some real new beginners to this song, new beginners playing here. It's really important. I'll just change my video around a second. This particular song has a ton of eighth notes in it, okay? And so it's really important when you practice a song like this to practice it as slowly as you need to practice it in order to play the right notes. Because what your brain is learning is the notes in connection to one another. All right? So if you have to play this song oops, I played it wrong. If you have to play it that slow in order to get the notes correct, do so. because what you're reinforcing with your brain is the relationship between the notes as well as the notes. And once your brain learns that relationship, learns that the melody, how the song goes, you'll be able to play it faster. And you should try speeding it up. All of these songs, try speeding them up to the point where you're making mistakes. And once you start making mistakes, back it down a little bit slower, play it through a few more times, and then go ahead and speed it up. And that what you want to do there, what you specifically don't want to do is practice mistakes, right? So if you're making mistakes, you don't want to practice those. You want to slow it down and play them slower so that you're not making mistakes. And what I say about mistakes is please don't let them frustrate you. The only way we learn is by making a mistake. So please take, if you are making a mistake, take it as a challenge to figure out how not to make that mistake in the song. And just continue working on your fingering, which fingers you're using, and how slow you're playing the song until you can play it without making those mistakes. Questions about that? No? Okay. Everyone's skeptical about this when they first start playing any instrument. Like, what do you mean? Why can't I play it, as fast as the song normally goes? Well, because it takes time for your brain and your fingers and everything to catch up with one another. I'm sorry, who said that?
Me, Penny, not me.
Okay. Okay. So
I'm musically dumb.
No, you're not. Not at all. Not at all. It just takes time for your brain and everything to catch up. So play it as slow as possible. And then you're still learning the melody, even though it's a much slower version. All right, I'm going to flip over my camera again. And for the sake of time, let's move on. This is Who's Gonna Shoe Your Pretty Little Feet. I'll count. Okay, Henny, I think you need to mute.
Let me see. I'm just learning how to do this too.
Take your time. It doesn't much matter unless you're trying to play along, and then it will.
Henny, you should look on the lower left-hand corner of your screen, and you might see a little microphone there. And if you click on it, like I'm about to do, it's going to shut off my mic, so you won't hear me. No, I think I just lost you.
All right, let me see if I can mute you from here. Yeah, I was able to do it for you. No worries. No worries. Can you still hear us? Give me a thumb up if you can still hear me. Uh-oh. Can you still hear me, Henny? Thumbs up if you can at least hear me. Well, I'm going to move on. Who's going to shoe your pretty little feet? This is a song, you were subjected to my singing a little earlier on, so I'm not going to subject you to that again. But certain songs like this song, when you have the lyrics, it can be helpful to sing along to yourself or sing in your head or hum along, because when you're singing the lyrics, at least inside your own head, it helps you get the melody out on your fingers in weird ways that I don't exactly understand, but it has to do with neuroscience. So yeah, if songs like this where you want to sing the melody, who's gonna shoe your pretty little feet? Again, don't want to subject you to my voice. But it does help when you're practicing songs like this to sing them. All right, I'm going to count to 4 and then we're going to come in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, I played that wrong. Let's start back from the beginning. 1, count to 4, then come in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, third line. We're on the fourth line. Rest. So just a reminder for the last line of this music, I'm just playing 1 on the bass note and 2 on the melody at the second measure of the last line where it says be your man. I'm just playing the 1, I'm not doing the 1 2 2, which sounds like that. I'm just doing the 1 2, 1's open 2. And then again for your, I'm just doing 1 0 1. Just makes it a little bit easier to play. You can certainly play it as written if you wish to. Okay. Moving on. This is Abide With Me. Again, if you're just beginning, you can just play the melody. Otherwise, try to get some chords in and or try to arpeggiate some of the chords, particularly the long holds. At the end of every line, there's a whole note. It's a long hold. I'm going to count to 4, and then we'll come in. Good to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good for folks? Yay? Not so much? I'm sorry. Questions? So, if you want to practice singing with your dulcimer, this is a great song to practice singing. It does go pretty high up, and I can't get that note out of my singing voice. But yeah, it's kind of good to you can practice that whole abide with me. Fast falls the evening tide. So I'm just playing the chords and singing against, or trying to sing it. Does that make sense? I'd suggest, this might be a song that you practice tuning your dulcimer down to C, G, C, right? And then you're in the key of C, and you can play this tab exactly as written. You're just going to be one whole key lower. And that key of C is typically an easier key for most people to sing in. That's why a lot of songs are written in the key of C. Hey, Do you want me to play this one again or move on? We have like 5 more minutes and 2 more songs to get through. All right, let's move on. This is Psalm 23. If you know the song well and want to add in the hammers and the pull-offs and the slides, go for it. Otherwise, you can just play again the bottom row of numbers and ignore all of the extra stuff. Okay, I'm going to count to 4 and then we'll come in again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, sorry. Can't you play it? Alright, I'm going to start from that 4 on the 3rd line of music down. So the second 4. So going up to the 7 sevens. 1, 2, 3, 4. End of the 4th line. And then that wonderful harmonic, if you get it, the end. Again, to get the harmonic, you're not fretting at 7. You're just placing your finger on very top of the fret, and you're strumming way back here in the strum hollow. And as soon as it starts to ring that harmonic, you lift your finger off the fret. And again, you're not fretting, you're not pushing down, you are just touching on top of the fret and strumming way back as far as you can get. Does that make sense? Anyone get the harmonic? Yay, yay, couple people. It's something you need to practice. Harmonics are like more than beginners. Okay, just bear in mind that some of these things are more advanced techniques. This is a great song to memorize because there's really only 2 different phrases in this music, in this particular song. There's the first one, this part. And that repeats again. And then you have the... Whoops. I messed it up again. This part. So and that only goes once, and then you repeat that first part again at the end of the song. So there's really not a lot of different patterns in here that you have to memorize. So just pointing that out. Look for the patterns in music to help you along. Okay, last song, Simple Gifts. Ooh, oh, we're going to play this one. And we're a little bit over time. We'll be a little bit over time. I'm sorry about that. Simple Gifts. I'm watching Michelle. She's looking through her music. Can you read? Can you look it up? Can you look online?
It's sometimes a little hard for me to get the page just the right size. So, but this looks good and I know this song. So thank you.
Okay, cool. All right. So again, I will count to 4 and then we will come in. This happens, the melody on this song goes up onto the middle string a couple of times. And that's what you see here, where the first 2 notes of the first line and the last note of the first line are all on the middle string. So watch for that when the melody jumps up from that melody string. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Third line. Oops, sorry. Beginning at the last line. I'll count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yay! Big finish. Alright. Let's turn that off. Stop share. Come on. Okay. And I'm going to turn my camera around. So yeah, I hope that's useful to people. I think if you have questions, if something didn't make sense, you have my email. Please send me an email. And again, I will send out the recording with these other links to these other songs that we played at the probably around Friday afternoon this week. I probably can get it out. Does anyone have any questions or suggestions? And yeah, as I mentioned, next month we'll do holiday tunes, and then in January I'll be starting a whole bunch of new songs. A few of the ones we've been playing as our intro songs. So I'm open to suggestions of what songs you want to learn. So, any other questions or issues or thoughts for tonight?
Just thank you as usual. You're awesome.
No, I'm not, but thank you.
Yes, you are too.
Okay, tonight I'll put on my awesome crown.
Don't forget to tell Jack.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes. Oh, great. It was great to see you all.
Great to see you too.
And
Thank you
whatever
so
you
much.
no, you're welcome. Thank you for being here, and whatever you do, keep playing this thing. Keep trying, keep working it. I promise you can get it, and it just fills your life with joy. Once you're able to play some songs. Right, Michelle?
Yes, it's true.
And Jane taught me how to play. So,
No, I didn't.
Thank you, Jane. Yay.
so have a great night, everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.